Hello and welcome to Retro Gaming Swede. My name is Oscar and today we're going to take a look at something really exciting. It's a new game called Okinawa Rush for the Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One and Steam. This review is based on the Switch version and all the gameplay is captured from there. Okinawa Rush is made by a small indie development team called Sokaikan, and the physical version is handled by the awesome folks over at Pixel Hunt. Those are also the guys that handed me the review key. Just thought I'd say I didn't pay for this, but it won't change my opinion on anything one single bit. If you're interested in the physical version of Okinawa Rush, you should absolutely check them out. I've talked about them once before on this channel when I bought the awesome Arcade Racing Legends game for the Sega Dreamcast. I'll leave a link in the description so you can check out all the cool games they have. They publish new indie games for older platforms like the Dreamcast, Super Nintendo, Sega Mega Drive, and also have a few for newer systems like Okinawa Rush here. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, you should definitely check them out. Anyway, enough of that, you're here to see the game, so let's get on with it. Okinawa Rush is a 2D beat-em-up platform game where you play as one of 3 martial arts masters. All of them has different cool special attacks and different strengths. The story also changes based on which character you choose. You should absolutely try all of them out to see which one suits your playstyle the best. There's 2 different modes to the game. An arcade mode where you try to beat the game as fast as possible, battling with the timer as much as your enemies. This is actually more fun than it sounds, just like in a real arcade game. It's really fun to try to get as far as you can on a limited time and only 3 continues. But the main meat of the game is in the story mode. Here you select your character and start out by doing some basic training exercises in the dojo. Then you set out on your quest. The evil shadow ninjas of the Mantis clan are up to no good, trying to steal the sacred training manual. It's your job to kill them all dead and defeat the head honcho of the clan. The story changes based on which character you play as, and it's all really well presented with beautiful cutscenes and great voiced characters. There's a good variety of stages ranging from beautiful outdoor stages to underground lairs. The enemies range from ninjas to samurai to flying monsters and other different creatures. There's some variety to these, but not a massive amount of different ones. The art style and general presentation of the game is in my mind absolutely gorgeous though. The cutscenes look great and the backgrounds are really beautiful. The character and enemy sprites are also very well made. You can change your CRT filter in the main menu if you like that kind of thing. I don't, though, so I'll leave it off for this review. I just don't think it's something that helps the game in any way. But of course, there are people that do enjoy it, so good for them. I'm just not one of them. You can also turn the blood on and off here and change around the controls and stuff like that. The control works absolutely great and the gameplay is very fluid. There's no noticeable lag or anything from your inputs and the attacks really feel like they connect hard. The only thing is that when you're surrounded and doesn't have any red orbs collected so you can make any cool special attacks, it can be really hard to get out of there. That can make you take a beating and maybe even lose your life. But there's extra lives to find on the levels, if you just take the time to explore the stages. The difficulty can absolutely be up there, but that is more or less expected in a game like this. You probably won't get through the game without dying a lot of times the first time you play it, even on the lower difficulty settings. Once in a while you can rescue tied down or wounded people, which will either give you some extra cash or a health restore item. Doing this will increase the rating you'll get when you clear the level. Increasing your rating is another one of those things that raises the replayability of this game. At least for me, it's really fun to try and find all the people on the stages and try to raise your score. Also, there's at least 9 different endings to the game. Seeing all the endings gives the game a ton more replay value. The bosses on each level are all really fun to fight, and they all look just the right amount of intimidating and require a lot of practice to beat. During the game you can visit a traveling merchant that you can buy stuff for your dojo from, and amulets. All these things increase your stats in different ways. Although I haven't really figured out how to use the dojo really. I just get the big stuff and put it in and it gives me bonuses. I guess there's a secret to how you're supposed to arrange them, but I can't figure it out. The music sounds great and fits the feel of the game perfectly. There's both almost ambient songs and there's quicker ones that fits the action in a really nice way. The sound effects also feel really good. Seeing that it's mostly fight sounds, it feels meaty and every attack feels and sounds great when they connect. The special attacks are generally easy to do and they generally look pretty great too. Giving you a nice reward after setting up a bunch of enemies and pulling off a special. The blood will flow everywhere. Of course, there's also weapons to grab, and once you get one, you'll feel almost unstoppable. Like the sword that cuts through every enemy like butter. They don't last forever though, but it's not that bad since you can cut through several enemies with one slash. Getting one of these feels awesome and changes up the game a bit, which is kinda welcome. Not that the game is boring normally, but it's nice to just go on a sword slashing rampage once in a while, killing everything that moves. You can also use the environment to take out enemies. All around the place are lanterns that either stand on the ground or hang from the ceiling. Some need to be lit first in order to use. Attack these and watch your enemy burn. The levels are also filled with deadly traps that will auto-kill you, but keep in mind that it's not just you that can die from them. It's also your opponents. Both of these things can be really useful when you're fighting a lot of enemies or if you're fighting a mid-boss character. Just kick over a lantern or push your enemy into some spikes and you're free to advance. There's also a 2-player mode in the game. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to try it out, but I can't possibly think it will be boring to play this with a friend. It usually won't make a game any worse. So, what's my final thoughts on Okinawa Rush? Is it worth playing? Of course it is! I've had tons of fun playing this game. Granted, these kinds of games are right up my alley. It's got everything I want from a game. Punishing but fair difficulty, gorgeous 2D graphics, great music, great controls and a high replay value. Granted, it's not the longest game in the world, but I didn't expect that either. I think Sokaikan really knocked it out of the park with this one, and Pixel Art did a good job scoring the publishing for it. The download version is out right now if you feel like getting it, and there's a demo on it out on Nintendo Switch if you want to try it before you buy. The physical version is out on the 19th of November 2021 and Pixel Art has a few different editions to grab. I highly recommend getting the physical release though, since it will hopefully make Pixel Art pick up more of these awesome games and maybe even earn some money in the process. Because these guys deserve it. both the devs over at Sokaikan and the publishers Pixel Hot. So do yourself a favor and get yourself a copy today. Did I mention that the physical release is limited? With all games numbered and with a certificate of authenticity and all that cool stuff. Well, it is, so if you want a physical copy, don't wait for too long. Yeah, that more or less just sounds like marketing speech. But to be honest, I think you should get a copy of this if you collect games and enjoy some retro goodness. Because if no one buys these games, there won't be more of them, and Okinawa Rush is a really good game. Oh, and that Black Mantis edition really would look good on my shelf. Anyway, that was all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed my video and thought it was at least a little interesting. If you want to see more like this or really like retro video games, press the subscribe button below, and if you're really awesome, give this video a like. What do you think of publishers doing these limited releases for indie games? Tell me down in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and all I have left for you now is a very grateful goodbye.